Hello, welcome to Tarot with Tanya. This is 7 cards for 7 days. Welcome if you are new, welcome back if you've been here before. In this reading for the week of September 30th to October 6th, remember that it is for the collective, so it's a general reading. And I'm encouraging you to take what resonates for you and leave the rest behind. It's going to be an interesting week because we have an eclipse. So first we'll talk about the astrology. Then I am using the Guardian of the Night deck for our reading. And it's a beautiful reading this week. And then we'll finish with the Tree Keeper's Oracle card. Please consider liking, sharing, subscribing if this resonates for you. And let's get started. So as I mentioned, it's a big week in terms of having this eclipse. We start off with the moon in Virgo, and then by Wednesday when we have the eclipse that afternoon, it has moved into Libra. So that's where this new moon is occurring. So the sun is in Libra now, new moon is in Libra, and this solar eclipse is happening at that point. So we end the week with the moon in Scorpio next weekend. So there's a lot of feminine energy in that. The Virgo is a feminine sign, Earth, Scorpio's water, another feminine sign. Libra, though it is an air sign, which makes it the masculine, a masculine element, it's ruled by Venus. It loves relationships, so it's the most, to me, in ways, feminine of those masculine air signs. So when we have this eclipse on Wednesday, if in the Midwest here, it'll be at about 10 till 2 that day. It brings in a lot of energy of negotiation. Libra is the diplomat. It likes balance and harmony, so it's going to be rebalancing relationships, partnerships. There's a desire for peace and harmony. And because it's this new moon and solar eclipse, it can really bring in some fresh energy into our relationships. We also do have a Mars and Saturn trine then, and that can help us pace ourselves to stay grounded. Saturn will slow us down, discipline us. Mars wants to move us forward with a lot of energy. So those being in a good harmony and this eclipse all happening, it could be very good again for helping us be in a good pace and to keep our feet on the ground. On the other hand, the eclipse is square to Mars, again, that planet of energy that rules Aries. You want to be mindful not to be hasty. That's where that, again, good pacing can come in. We also have Mercury aligning with the sun and moon, and that gives us a lot of energy for like a thoughtful discussion. We want to try to see the whole picture. And the eclipse can challenge that. It's like there are energies in one direction and then sort of like some halting energy coming in as well. So to me, when that happens, it's like, do go slowly, do try to stay balanced, do be thoughtful, mindful about your actions especially. So that's where, you know, we want to go back to that whole picture, because eclipse, I mean, look at what the word means. Things are eclipsed. It's a little bit more challenging to see things clearly for a bit there. So there is an echo of this eclipse. If you look back to October 3rd, so very close in time, the date-wise anyway, but 2005. Yeah, that's a long time ago, depending on your age. For me, it doesn't seem so long ago, and it's when I bought the current house I'm living in. So it's a very significant phase. I mean, Libra's strong in my chart. So I know that that affects me deeply. So if you know your chart, you want to see where that Libra is and look for some energy, some development, perhaps even some small challenge in that area. Of course, I said the sun is already in Libra, and with the peace and the harmony and the negotiation, the diplomacy, all of that, there can be indecision because Libra likes to balance, and there can be some pleasure in knocking things off balance to rebalance. And I think that, that comes at a subconscious level. I certainly have been guilty of that, so you kind of want to watch that too. And also give yourself a break if you're feeling indecisive. Well, you're right in with the harmony, and know that it will pass and you will get back to being more decisive. We also still have Venus in Scorpio, so that's very passionate. And I mention it again because a lot of energy for relationship and making meaningful changes in relationship occurring this week. All right, cards are totally supportive of this energy. My goodness, it is dominated by the cups. I shouldn't say passion necessarily, that could be the fire sign, but intimacy, psychic ability, emotional connections, things like that. And we start off beautifully with this Two of Cups. So this can be love. I see the Ace of Cups as self-love, and this is love shared with another. It can also be about negotiations, trying to, set up a contract with someone or something like that. But it is such a beautiful card. We have our elephants here, and the caduceus, our chalices, of course, the pink lotus. Signs of passion and longevity and commitment and deep spirituality through that lotus, and transformation too. So lovely Monday in that sense. On Tuesday, we stay with the feminine, and now we're into the pentacles. So we've moved from the water to the earth. So grounded and practical. And here we have the 8. And, we have our winged creature building some kind of a shelter here, storing up. And this 8 of Pentacles is about a wonderful craftsperson, somebody who has really put in the time, has built the skill to do things very well. So that's a nice energy for our Tuesday. 8s connect back to the strength too, so maybe that's something that you need to find within yourself, give yourself credit for, or perhaps another. And then on Wednesday, day of the eclipse, now we do have that Ace of Cups. So we started off the week with the love perhaps of the other, someone we're connected with, and now we're back to the self-love. And that is also part of this whole Libra thing. Libra's counterpoint, the opposite side of the wheel, is Aries, and that's the self-love. And how, I do think it's natural law, human truth, that to really love others, we need to come from a basis of self-love. So that eclipse energy, you might know where you're out of balance. Are you too involved with the self, or not enough involved with the self? And that, I think, typically is how it is, more that we undervalue ourselves. And this is a good reminder: come from love, makes you better in those other areas of Libra and in general. We get one major this week. And I feel like that's also the emphasis on the new beginnings that an eclipse and a new moon together can bring. So here we have Judgment. And this card always makes me think about judging versus having good judgment. And, being judgmental or judgy, as it's popular to say now, it doesn't feel really good. We might feel righteous for a moment, but ultimately I think that's a a detriment to our own selves, of course, as well as to others around us. But having good judgment is a totally different thing. You know, have your own wise counsel. Talk to others who you feel have good judgment. And again, it kind of fits in with the Libra, to keep a balanced and holistic perspective. And the other thing about this is that it's connected also, it's a 20, which numerologically connects it to the High Priestess. So deep intuition and really sort of the outer expression of that. So that was our Thursday. Our Friday, this is the only day that we have a little bit of spice, and that comes through fire. And we have the Page of Wands here, and I mean the colors are so beautiful. It looks a little bit like autumn to me in this one, though. You have some pink flowers, but there are still pink flowers in my garden. And here it's a messenger. Pages bring in a new energy. They can bring in information, and this might be very instinctual, meaning you might not even be able to think it through, but you feel it. You want to act on it. So listen to yourself, feel through yourself what that new energy might be after you've gone through the Libra, that eclipse energy. So that was Friday. Saturday, we have another page. And this one is back to the cups. So as you can see, we had the 2, we had the ace, we have the page, and we're going to end with cups this week too. So this is our Saturday. We've already talked about pages being messengers, bringing in new energies. And this one is super, super sweet. Kind of energy. Pages can also be thought of daughters, and so they're labeled that in some decks. They're labeled princesses in some decks. But there's a very soft, feminine energy to this one. Can be like a beloved daughter kind of energy. So it could be a creativity within the self, a sensitivity, a kind of deep knowing that's not intellectual but emotional and psychic. That can come in on our Saturday. And then finally we end with Sunday, and we have the Knight of Cups. Now the Knight of Cups is typically thought of as the great romancer, the big flirt, the one who could love bomb you. You know, the problem with love bombing sometimes, of course, is that it ends too soon. It's not necessarily genuine. I like to think of it as being genuine, but, you know, your life, your energy, your intuition, you have to be the judge of that. Just know that that's potential. It can be very romantic. I mean, you went from the page, you know, on Saturday to the Knight on Sunday. So there's a progression there, and there's a depth. And with that moon in Scorpio that weekend, could be very passionate, very romantic. Just know, you know, there can be pitfalls to that too. We can get carried away, lost, kind of shut out the rest of the world, but also creative, dreamy, and romantic. All right. So quite a week on the Cups relationship side of things, with some, you know, push to have good judgment and balance. All right, we're going to end our reading today with this Tree Keeper's Oracle card. And, you know, every week I'm saying how beautiful these are. They just speak to me. I love them. And this one is the Keeper of Innocence. Many of us were spoon-fed the concept of original sin, but have never heard the story of original innocence. It goes like this. You were born from purity, a luminous soul created from a morsel of the divine, housed in a human body. You always have this innocence at your core, no matter what or who happens to you. All you have to do is experience it, all you have to do to experience it again is fall back into the wings of your own soul and let them carry you. There is no mistake, no error, no sin or wrong that cannot be submerged into source and remembered back to its original pure and magical state. I think that's a pretty profound statement. Love dissolves all things unlike itself, so choose the loving eyes of a new parent and gaze at your own life with captivation and wonder. Now is the time to connect with the innocent, whole, breathtaking soul you were born with. And I do think those are words of truth. So, beloveds, I'm wishing you the best week possible. Please comment, please reach out. Please ask what a psychic reading entails if that interests you. And again, I'm going to remind you, ask you to subscribe if you haven't, to share this with other people. And remember, it's free. You don't have to do anything but subscribe. All right, I will see you again in 7 days.